It's gonna be Earth Spirit instead.
Oh, whoa!
Lycan.
They took away the EG Lycan.
Huh.
No, EG took away the Lycan.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, the
Navi.
Navi Lycan, excuse me.
Because they know that Navi relies heavily on summons.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what Navi's high ground game looks like, and that's the biggest thing about EG is that they're the kings of holding high ground.
Yes.
We saw that in the game yesterday against Empire, where that was almost an unlosable game for Empire that
Yeah.
somehow turned into like a 60-40 split at some point.
I think the great thing for Navi is they almost never, 99% of the time against an EG draft, have to worry about the Chen. Because EG very, very rarely run that hero.
Yeah. I think Navi, no matter what, they were going to get something out of the draft, which is cool. This is a more diverse Navi than we've ever seen.
Show me Invoker?
First pick? I think Invoker's okay here for this.
How do you respond?
For this
Like,
particular series.
safe lane OD plus Beastmaster off lane for Navi? Or just go for the Chen again?
Chen OD is an okay response. Chen DP.
Reserve time.
Okay, so Invoker's taken. Then I think Navi should respond with...
What's the difference in your head? You said Chen DP, Chen OD.
Because if Navi struggles to go high ground, then they take the DP. If they want the more favorable matchup slash a better way to go into the late game, then you take the OD.
And again, giving Dichira a hero, because he's been focused with the Lycan and they banned the Natus Prophet themselves.
Yeah.
Do you think, which one do you think fits Dandy's playstyle a little bit more?
He had a great game on DP the other day.
He did.
He was like the only reason they could stay in it. It was again the secret one, but the only reason they stayed in the game was that Dendy kept on top of net worth while running around from lane to lane every time his ulti came off cooldown. He did a great job with that.
Every
But-
single time he popped Exorcism in fights, everyone was just, run away from the DP.
I kind of felt that was just the flow of the game though, not necessarily because it was Dendy on Death Prophet. It was just like, well, this is happening, I'm going to go with it.
Maybe they even do like Void +1. Or they have Bat Rider as an option too. They could just go like Bat DP, Bat OD. And they would have their pick-off potential on Invoker too. That works really well against heroes that don't necessarily need help, or think they need help, like Invoker. Plus the cast range, or the sticky napalm really messes him up when he's trying to do all these cool Invoker things, where he's just casting spells everywhere. It's really hard to turn your head.
And I guess with first pick Invoker and the precedent set by game one from Evil Geniuses, first picking OD still is a little bit scary, right? Having all that physical damage run at you.
So it's Chen, and what we thought it originally was going to be was Chen DP or Chen OD. Bang! Called it, Austin.
Good job, buddy. High five.
No, it's like a super obvious response.
You still get a high five.
Bounty hunter.
So Bounty is taken by EG.
I mean, that's not terrible.
Fear has to play
Against
a
a Chen,
roamer.
it's not terribly surprising.
Fear has to play a roamer, by the way,
Yeah.
in this meta. The way that EG splits their lineup is that all three of their cores require farm. It's just the way that it works. And oftentimes what you'll see is teams like, for example, Secret, where they'll sack their offlaner and Pylite Die will get a lot of the farm that's meant to go to him, the distribution. But on EG, they skip that entirely. They just have PPD play the role where he'll sit behind the hero a lot.
PPD Lion or something like PPD
Yeah,
Lion,
exactly.
Crystal Maiden.
Is that because of the offlane? Is that because Sumail and RTZ play more farming cores?
Yeah.
And then the offlane position is no longer that kind of Clockwork Tusk Spirit Breaker offlaner sort of deal.
You can still play kind of like that, and Universe does to a certain extent, but he's always had the most success playing the farming roles.
Right.
In general, like the heroes, think about the heroes that you know him for is like Void, Darkseer. Those are heroes that you don't just like necessarily sack.
It's not even worth Navi banning Maiden or Lion, right? Because he's going to get one or the other for PPD. You're maybe scared a little more of the Crystal Maiden against the Chen, just being frostbiting those creeps.
Yeah, you could do Witch Doctor, but I think Witch Doctor is too slow here.
Yeah. Witch Doctor was always really great with, Juggernaut plus Chen, Witch Doctor, and you just go with mass healing into towers.
I was gonna suggest Phoenix for EG, but I don't know if PBD plays it, because I know Fear is their Phoenix player.
Yeah.
So that kind of limits things.
And isn't that questionable? I always have problems. Maybe Blitz, you're going to say this is A-okay, but whenever I see a lineup, two supports that do not have hard disables, Chen Wisp, for example.
I think it's okay, but you have to structure your lineup really well. Like, there has to be a very specific timing window for that, because you're not relying on playing the catch-up game with those kinds of lineups. Because when you play the catch-up game, teams will just play split push, and
Right.
you need at least one support that can burst down somebody. Okay, so Navi, that was the other hero that we said. They were going to take the Void.
Yeah.
They weren't going to take it in the last phase, they were going to take it in this one.
I would bet if Faceless Void was banned, they would have taken Bat Rider.
Yeah. Navi clearly, the way that it works is you have heroes that can just become interchangeable to the type of strategy that you want to play.
Yeah.
10 seconds remaining.
So Evil Geniuses respond with Lion.
5 seconds remaining.
Do they go third pick line or fourth pick line? I'm thinking like Arteezy, Ursa, or something like that.
I think you snag it before Navi can get their hands on it, right? Because it can still work fine. Lion Chen. I mean, it's the same kind of examples, right? You have a 4-position roamer. You want to be able to have a heavy disabler, particularly against that Faceless Void.
Yeah.
Heavy disabler.
Lion is amazing against
Oh, yeah,
Void.
you hit level 2.
Plus, it's the most self-sufficient support that still does something without farm. Like, the Bounty Hunter is not going to help him a lot when it comes to wards, and he's going to soak up a lot of the experience. So you need one of those supports that are still super effective. And Finger of Death is always going to have a really great timing window, where no matter what, it's going to be okay.
Kind of guaranteed to kill.
Yeah.
You get some track gold in it, then you actually do get some items.
It's nice to get a 12-minute blink sometimes online, but occasionally you're running around 20 minutes in with just tranquil boots.
Yeah. All right, Navi, you want to leave your carry for last at this point in time, right? So
You could take Jug here.
Okay.
You could take Jug or Gyro. I'd be okay with that
okay.
business.
Is it not going to be Dikura safe lane OD? I mean, Denti has played it a couple of times mid, but the majority of the time it is safe lane.
I think when they ran it safe lane, I really didn't like it. If they do that, then they would have to take something weird like.
I think they go
DP.
Puck or something for Dendi.
Puck's okay. Bench.
Evil genius.
Keeping Dendi's hero hidden, safe and secret.
I was just about to mention, you need a saving hero for OD.
Yeah, that's a saving hero for the OD.
Why not?
Why-
Why not Oracle?
Oracle is it's not a hard lockdown stun, 1, and 2, against players like Invoker, it's pretty good, just because you can get on top of them. It's a gap closer as well.
You also don't know what the offlaner is yet. I think certain offlaners really abuse Oracle quite heavily.
5 seconds
King
remaining.
of Brood, Darkseer, Lone Druid, Natus Prophet gone. You mentioned the Clockwork earlier. That's a hero we just do not see at all anymore.
No.
I think your options are like Beastmaster.
Bat,
Bat's actually pretty good here, just because Firefly would be pretty good to slow down.
Chen creeps.
Yeah, and
It's one of the faster offlaners, right? And you want something that's a little bit faster in that regard, that comes online faster, goes for those early kills, pickoffs, when you have a bounty hunter.
I think Beastmaster's better though because Navi's lineup can Roshan so early, and you want to fight around that space.
Okay.
And it's hard with like Bat Rider is better at fighting at the Roche Pit, but I think Beastmaster, the vision that it gives you, it makes it impossible for Navi to go for something like a Desperation Smoke into Roche Pit.
Right. And Beastmaster is also particularly strong against Faceless Void. Once you have those Necronomicons,
Yeah.
burn away that mana.
I think it just depends on what you favor. If you
Okay.
if you favor going later on into the game, then you can take a hero like Bat Rider and just Firefly on the ground. But there goes Beastmaster because Radiant. You don't. I think I brought up the concept earlier. You don't want to give OD the Aegis like under any circumstances. It makes it so hard to fight into an early Aegis plus drums and treads.
It gives
The
them
hero does too much.
It gives them a free like secondary item as well.
Yeah.
Just farming up like into Rotobatos or Blink.
So
5 seconds.
cores on each
remaining.
side.
So you've got some somewhat pretty dangerous lockdown from the Faceless Void. You've got these big AoE nuke coming out from the OD. What kind of carry then is structured around that?
10
Besides the, I'm presuming, Spectre ban that comes out from Navi, seeing as that's kind of a staple of the scene.
That's a good ban. Up against the Chen especially.
Okay,
yeah.
so they banned the
Hey.
deep.
New hero?
That was fast too, because I was almost certain that if EG doesn't ban DP, remember we said if it was going to be the safe lane OD, then you have to take the DP in
Yeah.
that regard. I don't think the puck's strong enough, but
Oh, Legion Commander. I mean, get rid of
What
Hex
does
and
Legion
Lion.
Commander give us here?
Is purging off Beastmaster's Raw, Lion,
Yes.
and Track. There's three great things there to actually purge off with Press the Attack.
and you have a lockdown against the Invoker, which is really important because if you look at EG's lineup, I think Navi has enough to deal with the other side heroes.
You can per draw, right? And they can do lasso.
I think you should take, if you're Navi, or if you're EG, Becker, Ursa.
Ursa is a hero that Legion Commander can pick up blade mail against, but besides that, Ursa is quite potent against Legion Commander.
I think Ursa's the better hero, but I threw in the spec because EG has been playing it pretty much like in every situation.
Yeah, and it's one of the few times fifth pick Spectre was still available.
But Ursa's great here.
Yeah.
Ursa works really well against OD.
So, where are you leading here? EG with that last pick, Ursa, is that won your heart?
Yeah. I mean, we guessed our lineup, so I'm going to favor it just because it logically makes sense to me.
Durka?
Navi's back.
All right. One's going to go with his brain. One's going to go with his heart. I guess that leaves me to go for the tiebreaker. I don't know, the last time that we were on this analyst desk and we were like, yeah, Team Secret, I think they got this in game number 3.
You could just be really cheesy here and say, you know, the audience are the real winners of this.
That's, okay, no.
Actually, well, you know what, I'll you know, veto my own vote. Well, let's give the audience a chance. Audience? Navi? Yeah, you knew that was coming. All right, boys. Evil Geniuses versus Navi, game number 3, Toby1 and Milk. Give us a legendary cast.
Cap asking the most obvious question. Who does this crowd root for? Obviously, it is Navi. EG are playing away from home in this series. And they are also facing up against a team. Navi, just to put this in perspective, it was 8 days to the year that Navi were actually in a grand final. And you got to date back to 2014 to actually find a time when Navi actually won a grand final, and that was in Romania for D2CL. It has been a while since Navi have really tasted the main stage grand final.
And now they're up against the reigning world champions in order for them to make a new grand final.
It's a tall ask, but it's definitely one where you can prove that you deserve to be there. And don't just say, well, we just kited through on a nice part of the bracket. Like, they will have to work very hard to win this game. The panel was leaning towards EG's draft, saying that it just feels more logical and comfortable. Are you with Blitz on this one?
Oh, definitely. EG's draft is very well-rounded in what we describe as the current meta. They have all the heroes that are really good. Lion, Beastmaster, Bounty Hunter, Invoker, and then the Ursa. I really like that they picked the Ursa instead of the Spectre. They've had limited success with Spectre. I think throughout the tournament, it has actually been... It's below 50% win rate. Maybe not because of MVP. But yeah, double bounty rune for Navi. Good start, good start. Last time we saw them get the double bounty rune to begin with, they beat Secret. Is this...
Obviously, game is won. We don't even need to look at the draft anymore. So, Seneko starts with presence here in the mid. They're trying to make it so Sumail can't get the upper hand up against Dendy. I'm also interested to see what Dendy wants to go for here, because he didn't have to go for Astral Imprisonment because they weren't contesting the runes. They moved as a full unit, so if he wants to, he can actually get Orb as well as Essence Aura because of this.
Yeah, and actually, for this reason alone, I prefer playing Chen on the Dire side myself, because Astral can go up and take their...
Oh, okay, they're going to use Astral to reposition. There's a little bit of help coming in from Fear with a stun from Seneko. Do they have enough? Astral rotating in. That stun strike looks to do a little bit of damage to Seneko. They could go for a little bit more. Viet's already grabbed one, but Fear will retreat back out. This is Fear, who's meant to actually have the influence to help EG find kills early on and restrict the movement of Artstyle. But all he can do is just watch his core in the mid die.
So Fear actually wasted a lot of time by going up to the Dire side camp, blocking that for 30 seconds just to make sure, or not for 30 seconds, he went up just to make sure that the 30-second spawn didn't come, thinking that that's where Artstyle were gonna go, but there was no way a Dire side Chen is ever gonna start on that camp, so that maybe speak a little to Fear's inexperience in playing Bounty Hunter against Chen. So Artstyle picks up the Radiant camp creep, and will now proceed to go into his own jungle after they secure that kill on the middle lane. They actually didn't even need him because of the huge damage output from the Outworld Devourer.
Why does this feel like Diddy-Rise is looking to be more manly than anything else? No points up in press the attack. The panel was also talking about like how great that is. We were talking about it down here.
It's a female hero.
You're right. It is the man playing it though. But it's the fact that you're picking up the moment of courage. And you're heavily leveling this up early on. So it's the 1-1 now 2 build.
So the key to how Na'Vi has been successful in these games is that they are winning 2 lanes at all times. The same way we saw EG yesterday against Empire. Just making sure that they're winning mid lane and the safe lane.
I better win a little bit more. Troll Trapper now picked up for art style. Keep in mind too that Radiant Vision is primarily this very aggressive ward behind the tier 1 tower on the bottom lane. This is the only extra vision they have, so Arstyle's movements is not really being tracked at all. Same with Seneko. Seneko got scouted out in the mid lane primarily because he walked under a sentry ward while he was invis. But that kind of presence, it's forced Sumail to actually start jungling. Like, you got a 6-2 CS Invoker jungling, while Dendi, he's 14-13 on this OD in the mid. This is what you expect from a player like Dendi, especially when he's in form, and he's looking pretty damn good right now.
And Fear can't really disrupt Artstyle right now, especially because he's so close to Soneko, who's running around with not only Dust of Appearance, but also still has a sentry wall.
They're gonna go the stun over on Universe. Soneko, does he actually pop it? They see Fear as well. They've trapped him up. Universe survives an 80 HP. I'm looking to see if any extra attacks are flying in. They will not. The Axes really dropping Soneko down low, and that ball, that one attack. Soneko barely makes it. The tree line, the Sun strikes Soneko! Send this man to tap dance classes. He is able to dodge the Sunstrike coming out from Sumail.
So if there's one glaring mistake to point out, it's that Soneko and Artstyle aren't really coordinated on these 2 gangs. On the mid lane, they went before Artstyle got there in time to land the Hoofstorm from the Centaur. And now on the top lane, Artstyle wasn't really in position to get off that net on the Beastmaster, so he was forced to use it on the Bounty Hunter instead, which in turn meant that they dealt 400 damage to each hero instead of netting a kill.
Mm-hmm. It does still have the, well, I don't think this is the desired effect, but it keeps the Beastmaster off the top lane. Universe has managed to find 4 levels in 4 minutes, and now it's up to Bounty Hunter to leech the experience. But it's the fact that Diddy Ra is going to be able to hit level 6, so these kills, even with the miscoordination, are going to become a lot easier for Na'Vi, because they keep EG in their position, the one they start with.
Oh yeah, they definitely keep EG in check and maintain control of the game, but it could have already been further ahead.
Smoke movement now from Artstyle and Soneko. Easiest way to coordinate is to walk as one. And they can look down the bottom lane. They know they need to keep Arteezy in check.
A good kill is to get Arteezy before he hits 6, but PPD might, yeah, just run into him.
That courier. They're actually just ending up killing the courier instead. This will force Arteezy off the lane, and Artstyle will just grab himself a new creep, so he's got Troll Trapper plus the Wild Wing now.
And overall, it's a much better payday than getting any of these kills.
It also restricts the movement of EG. Like, if anyone's looking for a critical item right now, like, it's already difficult enough for the Invoker. He's still, like, we have a jungling Invoker.
Oh, okay. Sumail has actually completely given up on the middle lane.
Yeah, he did it like half before, and then the rotation came again, and they just, like, did it fully. And what can you do? Like, you send Fear to the mid lane, but now he'll also get scouted. Walking underneath that sentry ward. He should know it's there, considering their sentry in the mid got dewarded. And they never dewarded the deward.
That's already a moral loss right there, when you just completely abandon the middle lane of all lanes to just go jungle, because there's no way you can stand up against the hero in the middle lane. And so early on as well. It's not because there's a huge potential kill threat one-on-one against him.
Mm-hmm.
Sumail just doesn't feel like he can actually last hit against him, and that he will probably get ganked repeatedly.
Which is funny, because like it happens at exactly the same time as Na'Vi move their supports down to the bottom lane.
And you gotta ask, is this a breakdown on EG's end? Because yesterday we saw that they were actually very on top of ganking ODs when they had the Lion and Invoker combo. And right now they've just completely given up.
It feels like something is wrong. Like there is a wheel slightly loose, but they have to put it back on nice and quick, or else Diddy Ra, he's going to get very, very close to picking up a Blink Dagger. That initiation is all in the hands here of Na'Vi. General's also going to pick up his Chronosphere shortly. He's got Soneko sitting behind him as an extra supporter. And that is actually the kind of the downside about Na'Vi, and where you look for the synergy from their lineup, that both General as well as Diddy Ra don't synergize at all. Like Chronosphere as well as Duel is not the combo you're looking for. Are they Fear? Arteezy is hiding in the trees, but he's getting ready to fight. General's got Chrono as well, so Soneko will get initiated on. If General needs to, he'll start creating space. The stun from PPD, very much off target. And any of that burst damage they throw out in General just instantly, it's rebutted by Time Walk.
Wow, that was so ballsy by General, just running around. Yeah, I bet you're gonna miss it.
Well, what do they got? Like Lion would need to be able to hit 1, the stun, and 2, the hex. Or else he's just going to time walk off any of the damage which is dealt.
Oh yeah, but like, many players would have just chronoed to try and save their Vengeful. Committed the chrono right away. Instead, he just ran in front of them, taunting them.
Dendy can't get close enough to really kill the Invoker, or maybe he can. He's still enough intelligence. He can drop the hammer, finds the kill on the Invoker, then imprisons out the support. EG could have looked for something there, but Universe, he doesn't have the mana. Even at the end of his TP, he's short of his Primal Roar.
Well, back to the jungle, Sumail.
This can't be a thing. Like, even in the jungle, he was desperately scrambling to finish up treads, but now Na'Vi apply pressure on top. It's the Chen army combined with the catapult. They will take this tier 1 tower because it's the other downside about the EG supports. They've got no counter push. Like, Beastmaster Axes are kind of like the only thing that's going to work for you. But if you get revealed in too close, the duel will come out. You'll have a Centaur Storm. You've actually got Chen, who's got the 2 points up and the nuke as well. The top tower is toast. Didi Ra is now only, like, he's a couple of 100 gold away from having that blink.
Yeah, and that's where the game really gets interesting and how Navi's gonna capitalize on that. I really gotta commend Dendy on his first item pickup. It's a Vitality booster. He doesn't even get the power threads. He goes straight for the Vitality booster to put him on 1200 HP, knowing that there is no way EG can kill him unless they have 4 or 5 heroes. Argon simply doesn't have any damage output right now.
We saw in game 2 what happens when EG commit 4 or 5 heroes. Space is just created everywhere else on the map.
Yeah.
Even General, who, like, he doesn't even have to go for his Iron Talon. He's got treads and a PMS, and he's level 7 on this Faceless Void. You look at his CS, 27 CS in for him. It's not that high, but his Chronosphere has done even more work.
EG going for a 2-man gang, securing the farm on the bottom lane. RTC getting a...
this time they should find it. Oh, time walk. General, does he feel it coming in? He lost vision. The axes will fly. Double TPs are on the way. General Celestial Chronosphere for another 13 seconds. But Dendy, do they find the opening? They find the Hawk at least. Thanks to their Sentry Ward they go on the hillside. Hilariously enough, they don't see the Observer Ward that's there as well. But General, he knows someone's there. Can he actually get the first hit? Time lock. He Chronospheres. Dira blinked himself forward. They're actually going to do enough damage to Universe, and now you can actually go into the duel. And Universe, he's going to give the first extra damage to the winner, Legion Commander. Now 3-0 in favor of Na'Vi on the kill board.
On the plus side, Universe spent so much of Navi's time that Fear is catching up on farm on the top lane. He's almost getting 6. He has the Arcane boots now. And
on the downside, Roshan's now going to belong to Na'Vi.
Yeah. I'm just trying to find the
happy place?
Yeah.
You want to find your pixie dust and, like, take the second star to the right?
Sumail sitting on 800 gold, over halfway to that minus.
He's walking forward. He'll get the Sun on R-Style. You've still got the Hand of God available. And this is taking a very, very long time for Na'Vi to finish it.
They just don't have the levels, the damage output. There's no answer to it right now. The only one who's really in the game in terms of items and level is RTC. He does have a Mask of Madness and he can take down targets real fast.
Okay, if you're OD now, do you even finish up your trades or do you finish up a Rod of Atos? Do you try and make sure that this Ursa, even with Mask of Madness, gets completely kited?
I mean, at this point you finish up the Rod of Atos, definitely.
He's got the first staff of Wizardry, just sitting on the courier. You've also got that headdress.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
It's the headdress of General. That's just going to go into his Vladimir's. Top lane is being attacked by Universe. There's no real movement coming out from Na'Vi. It looks like they're grouping up for another smoke maneuver. And this is 4 heroes together on the back of the Aegis the Immortal.
Radiant's middle tower.
Dendy actually has his Rod of Atos. The problem is coming out in the courier, so it won't be here for the fight.
Oh, RTC?
Yeah, he's not far enough out, and Dendy, like, the smoke breaks, RTC backs up to Ura. He actually blinked forward, but attacked. Instead of actually getting, oh, hello PPD. Pull him out. There's your orb attack, PPD. Nice double stun. Can they reach him? Nah, R-Style will just throw the nuke, ensure the kill, and move on to the tower. They did lose their T1 tower on top lane, Na'Vi.
If Ditara had actually dueled RTC, that might have actually backfired if all of EG would TP in response, just because RTC managed to get the enrage off in time, so he would have taken no damage for at least the first 4 seconds of it, so... Universe getting some free farm on the top lane, trying to push in on the tier 2 tower.
The 12-minute minus. Now gets to arrive for Invoker. Fear might be a little bit sad too. His rotation, if he was maybe 15, 20 seconds later, he would have actually caught that Curry, which had the rest of the Rod of Atos on it, and the starting items of that Vlad's.
So there are glimmers of light in the game of EG because they have an amazing lineup to come back with.
Yeah.
The Invoker has his Midas now. Beastmaster and Lion can lock down targets forever. Ursa can take down the targets in no time, and of course there's track goal on all of it.
Yeah, the single targets of EG are great. The issue is the ability to execute. Like, that's the primary thing. The vision, though, like, that Universe will be able to provide with his Hawks will do a lot of work. Because that means they can at least see Na'Vi coming, and maybe they can just get one pick off. Because maybe that's the bigger question we should ask. Will Na'Vi be putting themselves into a position where EG are capable of getting these one hero pickoffs? Because it seems like Na'Vi are all just holding hands right now and playing Ring a Rosie around the EG towers.
And they should. They really should. This lineup of EG can easily gank wherever on the map they want to, especially with smokes. So, and Na'Vi has a Chen, so they may as well start pushing down these tier 2 towers as well. They've gone for the tier 1 so far, but I think they should really commit this Aegis to taking the tier 2 tower on the bottom lane now.
Well, finally, EG are going to get some extra vision, which might help them. There is that dire sentry ward just around the corner, and with the observer ward that's already there, the Diddy Ra sees the fact that Universe is moving in and blinks himself out. He's almost finished up his blade mail as well. That's going to cause real problems when EG want to kill him off nice and quick. So trade time. Samel doesn't push anywhere near as fast as this Na'Vi lineup does with the Chen behind it. But now they do find the opening. Legion Commander, stun, Sunstrike, Diddy Ra, most definitely dead. Kill going the way of Samel. And space being created for Beastmaster. He's actually found his level 1 Necro book.
Oh yeah, giving up the bottom tower right now is definitely in EG's favor. They get this pick off on Diddy Ra, they get track goal on it. Universe is farming uncontested on the top lane, now has Necromicon 1. TC is also constantly farming, now has a Blink Dagger. By all means, EG has fought their way back in this game without fighting.
Yeah. It seems to be the secret, just get the better off trade. Not just towers, but the farm, more importantly. Universe is actually staying just out of range of the vision. Obviously, we are during nighttime. So he's feeling a lot more comfortable up here, but he's close enough that he can at least take the experience.
It's almost as if Na'Vi has sort of wasted this Aegis, I feel. I don't think they're gonna actually end up fighting with it, not trying to push a tier 2 tower early enough.
I agree.
So they took down Roshan, they got the golden experience from it, but that's about it. They didn't get any objectives out of the Aegis.
Well, now they can start pushing that Observer and Sentry. There's your Blink duel. Fear maybe didn't realize that was up after the blink away from Diddy Ra when the Beastmaster made his play before. But this is the first kill in a, well, quite a long time. Like, you had some towers being destroyed and then the Legion Commander taken out by the Invoker. But Na'Vi, they came into this game with a hell of a lot of steam, but they've been slowed up by EG's unwillingness to give opportunities. This kind of stuff with the Bounty Hunter is bound to happen.
Yeah, it's just hide and seek, and a Bounty Hunter at this stage is just not enough, especially not when both the Ursa and the Invoker are both farming freely. They have a lot of catching up to do, granted, but actually Ursa's still doing fine. He's ahead in the CS department.
Another group up for smoke.
His net worth is actually the highest, and by now, Sumail with that kill has caught up to Dendi.
That's crazy to think that he abandoned his mid lane twice. And this has managed to happen. But Na'Vi, they're coming in for an opening. Anyone they can possibly find. The biggest one they'll have is when they see Arteezy up on the top lane. Now, Arteezy's already used his Blink Dagger, but he just keeps running north. He's wasting time. He has to feel the attack of Na'Vi coming in. He'll blink to the trees, TP out, and this is a completely wasted 5-man smoke maneuver from Na'Vi. Unless he really wants to get greedy. General, blink, Chrono. But the Time Walker, he's able to reach it. Diddy Ra right behind. Now he goes in for the duel. And Ursa, how much damage have they got? Is it enough to get the bonus damage? It should be definitely enough to get the kill, which it will be.
Yeah, Blade Mail doing its work as well.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
It was almost as if Arteezy had this sixth sense saying, ooh, they're coming up behind me. I'm gonna run this way. And then he took the creep wave.
Yeah. That was something Na'Vi really needed to achieve. This Ursa was kind of getting out of control. And Sumail, like, as you said, like, he's playing catch-up. The Hand of Midas obviously isn't really money, which is turning into like a killing kind of item.
Oh,
But, wow,
got
Universe.
spotted. Oh, they didn't actually see him.
They'll fear here as well, but they look towards R-Style. General just run away, and they know that. The Sunstrike perfectly on the target, and that is a very nice track kill as well coming the way of EG. This is where their money can just start to skyrocket with kill after kill.
Exactly, you can see PPD is actually saving up for that Blink Dagger. They know that they just gotta focus on getting these pick-offs around the map constantly. They don't actually need to fight Na'Vi in an open 5-on-5 fight. They just need to make constant pick-offs so that Na'Vi can't assemble and push down their tier 2s.
Well, can Na'Vi even force a 5-on-5 fight then?
Oh yeah, definitely. So right now EG doesn't have a mechanism either. And Chen has all the heal in the world, and they're very tanky on the side of Na'Vi as well. And you like OD's damage output is still far and away the best in the game if Ursa is kept down. So Na'Vi can easily fight 5-on-5, I'd say, but they do need to assemble to do so. And that is where the strength of EG is right now, especially because they're trying to split push as hard as they can and obtain more gold than Na'Vi can get.
Fear's making sure he keeps very, very close tabs on this Na'Vi movement. Even at the cost of his own life, it's going to be worth it. Because he's not really worth that much. If you actually look at the two supports of EG, they're on the bottom run of net worth-wise. You kind of expect that when Na'Vi are running a jungler like a Chen, and they're taking so many out of towers early on.
It doesn't really matter though, because PPD has his Blink Dagger. That's technically the only item you need.
General's here for the defense. Chrono's off cooldown, and Na'Vi just quickly take the tower, and then they can back up. TZ, Fortification will stop him from taking that mid tier 1.
I wonder if Fear is gonna go for a mechanism or a Blink Dagger.
Well, considering the Necro book's coming over on the Beastmaster, like, it kind of has to be a mech.
Well, a Blink Dagger for positioning is also good.
That I can agree with. It almost feels like he's more of like that saving grace.
And there's no real point to getting the mechanism if they don't expect to be fighting Na'Vi at any given time.
Well, if you try and play that cat and mouse game, but it's going to be a matter of time before Na'Vi push you. Like, they're taking out their first tier 2 tower only a minute ago. And when they get their next Aegis, the Immortal, they will be looking to go high ground. And the next Aegis will spawn up in about 10 seconds. There's a lot of movement coming to top lane.
Yeah, the game has evened out in terms of strength of the two lineups, and it's all down to who has the better initiate at this point. So despite Na'Vi's early lead, they haven't really managed to transition it into anything worthwhile the way we saw in Game 2.
Fear was courier hunting. Quick blink away by PPD will get him out to safety. Ra's currently being stalked up by Fear once again. But Roshan is alive. EG is well aware of this thanks to the Hawk vision. Well, you also see both Snake and Arsal up on that top lane, so they know that Roshan's not going to be instantly done. And that Observer and Sentry from Fear 2 is getting so much information. Oh, can EG do this? Yep, they can. They jump in. Seneko very quickly mopped up by the Evil Genius movement.
Yeah, and by not dying and just slowly pushing out the top wave, PPD has not only gotten himself a Blink Dagger, he's now also sitting on another 1200 gold. This is probably the richest PPD has ever been in a game that they were technically behind in.
How far behind? Well, they technically are still behind, but they were 5,000 net worth behind, and slowly, over the past 10 minutes, they've managed to repair half of that deficit. Same for the experience movement.
To be fair though, it's because Fear has taken up the 5 role on himself now, just by constantly running around, scouting out Na'Vi, making sure that they won't surprise EG anywhere.
It really just seems to be like a ward on legs right now.
Yeah, there's several ways of playing Bounty Hunter, this is one of them.
He's an information source. If he can get the tracks for the kills, sure. But in the meantime, RTC knows exactly where he can move to farm, and same for Samel. And now both of them are top on the net worth board. Obviously, the next 4 are instantly Na'Vi players, and you've still got a very, very low bounty. But if you start getting kills, this corrects itself very, very quickly.
I am not sure this is a game that Na'Vi wants to take to late game. They do have decent responses to everything on EG's lineup, but I feel like if this Ursa gets real big and the Invoker as well, if they both get full inventories, I don't think Na'Vi has the answer to it.
I concur. But that's just when Na'Vi has to be ready to push high ground. They're going to get themselves another Aegis Immortal. Our second Roshan going to go down at the 22-minute mark. And they'll protect once again Dendi. But like, what's your trade-off at the moment?
It's just getting farm on EG right now. That's what they're content with. And if Na'Vi ever has anyone farming the top lane, then EG is gonna be there and pick them up. I think Na'Vi would be wise to just take a 5-man run through their own part of the map, clean out the woods, and have EG return to their base and start over.
A big item now arriving as well for Arteezy. So 22-minute BKB for him after he picked up that Blink Dagger as well as Mask of Madness.
Yeah.
Difficult to control. Looking for Chen to actually hold on to troll traps.
Oh.
Are they going to find someone up on top? Yep, there's your duel.
That went fast.
And Fear will go down.
So Gem on the Legion Commander. They're gonna make sure that they can now keep complete map control of this game. Plus he has a Shadow Blade, so he'll know when he's in safety. It's actually, you know, it's a bit odd going Shadow Blade against a Bounty Hunter with track, but then again, he can always remove it from himself.
There's also something too that Swindles was explaining. Like, the Shadow Blade is one of these things where, yeah, you might have a Blink Dagger, you got your initiation on that front, but it's also a great way to play around the fight general. Okay, OD imprisonment from Dendy. Buys him the space, there's no mana, 3-stick charges. Okay, he can just blink himself out. There's one. Dendy, however, he sacrifices his Aegis the Immortal. Arteezy has burned that ultimate, but support's coming down. Diuran's on his way, the stun's over on Dendy General, and looks like Dendy's just said, just leave me for dead.
And for the first time in the game, EG is now officially considered in the lead.
Officially?
Well, in my book.
The graphs will probably show the same kind of thing with that tier 1 tower dropping as well as Dendy.
Black King Bar up on Arteezy no longer has to worry about the Blade Mail. And I guess the Shadow Blade, something...
Oh, another winner.
It's 48 to him.
This is going to really start to rack up. Like, yes, you're only getting a kill on a Bounty Hunter. That doesn't really mean that much as far as money goes. But it's just the fact that you're continuously gaining more and more dual damage. Arteezy's going to try and correct this if possible. If D-Rock comes down for the rune, then maybe he'll... Okay, jump, Blade Mail time for Legion. Doesn't want to trigger just yet. That Sunstrike perfectly on target. And the Gem of True Sight. It's going to be given up. It's now in the hands of the Ursa. Oh, Shadow Blade's a great item now. Na'Vi really have to get that back.
So like Swindle rightfully pointed out, EG is not one of these teams that plays aggressive in the early game. They like to just sit back, farm up, make sure they get all the items they need. They are so confident in their skill and how to move around the map that they feel at their best once they hit around the 30-minute mark, and that's what's happening right now. They're just like slowly coming back into the game, and now they're ahead. They feel like they're in charge. They even pick up the leading hero of Na'Vi, so to speak, Jijara with that gem.
And they stalked him beautifully. Like, you get a kill on the Bounty Hunter and they knew exactly his path out. Because they controlled everywhere else in the jungle. This is the perfect, you're right, like this is great for evil geniuses. Momentum is starting to work their way. Like that BKB, it only feels like a couple of minutes ago Arteezy picked that up and he's already got another 3,000 gold on that Ursa. The Invoker sitting with his Aghanim Scepter. The Bounty Hunter is actually going to be building into the mech as his next primary item instead of going for that Blink Dagger. Yeah, and so EG's preparing themselves for that 35-minute fight.
Na'Vi needs to get the initiates on EG. They can't allow themselves to just be played around with this way. They need to either land a chrono on targets or initiate the fight with a duel, especially on the Ursa that now has the BKB. Otherwise, he's just gonna run all over them.
They just seem to get counted every time they look for a fight. And then these Aegis is Immortal, like you've got 2 Aegises coming in for Na'Vi, and like the first one, it felt wasted. The second one, not only was it wasted, but it also ended in the death of Dendy. He tried to save the Faceless Void, but the rest of Na'Vi was just too far away to help. Now these minions just keep pushing in for EG time and time again. Fear will be the neighborhood, but of course they don't have any kind of detection. Dendy starts his TP back out again. Sentries are down for the Dire side. Fear will instantly get rid of it with a Calling Blade, and we have ourselves another duel winner. How many times has Didier Ra... Is all 3 of his kills on the Bounty Hunter and duel wins?
I think he had one on Lion as well, right?
He definitely had a support. Like there was a duel that's happened because he's got 3 assists and 3 kills.
It's a good question.
Yeah. Either way, Fear has definitely given him 2 duel victories, and now Seneko, the Sunstrike again, General, gonna go for the Chrono. Seneko is still alive. Universe walked in to the Chronosphere, but General can't do anywhere near enough damage. They tried to Hand of God to protect the Vengeful Spirit, but now Samel comes forward to try and make his play. But Diddy Ra, front line, still 8 seconds till duel is back off cooldown. That Sentry Ward, it reveals out Samel. It's gonna be a double kill arriving for the Legion Commander. And where is that blink? It is, well, he's on the front lines. They're chasing Universe. Shadowblade is still on cooldown. Universe decides to run deeper into the lane.
Universe's Blink Dagger comes off cooldown first.
1 second into the trees. The straight TP, they really want to find that kill, but they won't be able to do it. He had the Gem of True Sight on him and gets it out safely.
Are they going to continue looking?
They have to know he TP'd.
How long are they going to stand there? And they give up.
Just blink to freedom. But that's a good fight for Na'Vi. Couple of picks on EG. That's the most they've managed to get out of EG as far as commitment-wise. And that was all to try and go on, what, a BS?
Yeah, they only got Vengeful out of it. Despite the Chrono sort of being wasted and the Hand of God actually doing nothing. They managed to pick up 2 good kills to Ditera.
It did help with the money coming into the line because now PPD has that Ether Lens on him. Didira, Beastmaster, gonna hawk in. Dandy, defensive imprisonment, gonna stop that Sunstrike damage. Of course, it also takes the Blink Dagger back off cooldown, but the stun, perfect timing in from PPD. Didira needs to break free. The Blade Mail will trigger. Dandy can actually defensive imprisonment get in 1 second time. No, he decides just to walk away.
And they played that fight so well, knowing that then they could just BKB and kill all of them if they got too close. So they just stood their ground, stood back, waited for their spells to come off cooldown.
I'm surprised that he didn't just BKB to posture, because he could have saved the Legion's life. Just BKB and go for another defensive imprisonment and just push EG away from his Legion.
Well, they had no vision in the area, so if Ursa did blink in on him,
that's up.
Spell game over.
Here goes your Chronosphere. Arteezy just walks into it. Danny, really good position to throw it in Oli very early on. Arteezy walks away on 140 life. PPD, he might be a little bit too deep, however. Na'Vi will be picking him off.
Enrage is a good spell.
It really is.
80% damage reduction on that ultimate, saving Arteezy, allowing him to run away. He's probably gonna go for an Aghanim Scepter. Well, maybe he'll go for the Abyssal Blade first.
Even just the casual bash is fine. Just having that chance to get that extra lock.
Yeah, it's all about what do you prefer most, locking down the enemy to kill him or being able to unlock yourself, so to speak.
The guaranteed lock does feel really good when you're going up against someone like an OD, because you're not running what we've seen as the bigger counter to the OD is someone like a Doombringer who just like walks in and dooms him up and he's like, oh, I'm not going to do anything anymore.
I mean, I agree with you. The best,
wow, really,
the best
Na'Vi?
defense is an offense.
Really? The quickest spawn, Roshan. Just poke your head inside of it. Dandy, he'll have a look. General's up. The Hawk will also reveal it for EG, so they understand what's going on here. General he didn't even go inside the pit. Now the Wave of Terror will reveal it.
Ditera's gonna be careful at the top lane. I do think Universe, with the help of a Sunstrike, can kill him. Close to 1800 HP.
The Observer scouted it out. Na'Vi have a ward down. They'll Sentry up, but EG, that Observer and Sentry is actually so far away, it doesn't reach the Na'Vi dire wards that are there. So they use Diddy Ra almost as bait.
Na'Vi's been really good at warding places that you wouldn't commonly do. They're within the areas that you want warded, but they're never within sentry range.
Who's still walking around with the gem? It's Universe. Yeah, Universe has come in. Now they'll actually get rid of those obs. General's looking to the mid. Gets rid of one of the Hawks. The other one times out. But General... Oh, Arteezy, it's just too much of a bait. And you know it too, but General, he doesn't care. He's going to go for it. Denny triggers the BKB. They find PPD defensively imprisonment now on the back lines, but General gets evaporated by that Ursa. Seneko wants to swap him out, but a finger of death from PPD, instant follow. The EMP's going to burn out everything that Na'Vi has got, including Arsal. He actually looks for the sandbag, cannot do it. Sent up into towards the air. He'll hit the deck and die pretty shortly after that. Being chased down is going to be a kill, a triple kill, in fact, going the way of Samael.
It took them 31 minutes to take a team fight, but they were done farming. And just like that, EG is now miles ahead of Na'Vi. As long as they, you know, when Ursa tanks up a chrono every time without dying, and in this particular case, Dendi blinked in without being able to deal damage to him because Ursa was on the far side of the chrono.
It felt like a really forced chronosphere as well from General. Like getting a little bit edgy about, is this the time? Is this when we battle? Should also note to the third Roshan now goes down to Ursa as the middle lane continues to be pressured by EG. That Chen Ancient Army just isn't enough to stop that melee ranks from dropping, or is it?
Divide and conquer from EG, taking down Roshan while pushing down the middle lane. It might have cost them the opportunity to get the melee racks though.
It's an Ursa, like stopping Na'Vi from having any kind of like ability to win the next fight, having both Aegis as well as Cheese. You can understand it.
Oh yeah, they got time. Now it's Na'Vi who's in trouble, especially because they're playing up against Track as well.
Yeah, that's what makes this type of swing happen, a direct vertical climb on the net worth. The experience follows very similar suit, and now you can definitely say officially that evil geniuses are ahead, because the graphs will support you. And with Arteezy having an Aegis Immortal, he can actually buy out and go for that straight Abyssal Blade.
One of PPD is gonna buy Boots of Travel. It's not an item he's particularly familiar with, just because he's never this rich.
It would make sense, because normally you just get the Tranquil Boots anyway on a Lion. So he has to be saving up for BTs eventually. It's
really good in conjunction with the Beastmaster as well, because those two can then be a threat all over the map.
Oh, we're going to quick pause down from EG. Hopefully they'll get the packet loss sorted out pretty quickly. Diddy Ra, well, this is a nice little room for him to find, but EG saw him move and Shadow Blade up. Yeah. But this is still like we go back into that whole situation of can Na'Vi control the positioning of the fight? Because if he's capable of doing that, then you're looking good. If you can't, then you're looking absolutely terrible. There's almost like that time too when you look for 4-staffs.
Yeah.
But no one's gonna be building into one. Like
it's really just having the perfect initiation every time, everything going their way in these team fights. That is the only way that they will be able to stay a contender for the winner of the semifinal.
Oh, an interesting item choice now coming from Samel. So we chose to go for Rashivas. Hello, Kite Time again. And that relic we were talking about for Arteezy has been picked up too. Samel will leave his Hand of Midas behind.
No buyback on Sumail now. He actually went for a full Shiva's guard.
This has to be like spelling a lot of confidence that EG are going to take this fight. With a 5-man movement under the cover of smoke, they're coming up after Na'Vi. But Na'Vi, like, they feel this. They know something is wrong. You've still got this Aegis the Immortal for, well, how long have we got if we get check on time? So it's just under 3 minutes. And EG just can't find anybody. Na'Vi read this perfectly, and they are hiding inside their own base. But now they lose kind of all map control. The Observer Lord goes down behind the last remaining outer tower of Na'Vi. So if EG want to take that tier 2 tower bottom lane, they just need the creep wave to go with it.
Yeah, it's wonderful for EG. That's another objective they can do. Take that tier 2 tower and just, you know, they just wiped out the entire forest of Na'Vi. Know that they're sitting in their base. They have complete map control. They know they're farming better.
And we are coming back. Na'Vi versus EG will continue now. 35 minutes into the game, 12-11. Things look dire for Na'Vi on the dire. While it's a radiant approach for EG. They're looking strong. They just have to not screw up.
Stop it now, Toby.
I can't, man. The puns have dropped just like our internet the amount of times. But we're alive again.
The tier 2 tower finally going down. I've been watching it all game.
Well, it seems like an eternity. Don't worry, we flatlined only for a short period of time. But that tier 2 tower, yeah, its end has been coming. For Na'Vi, the point to defend is high ground. The question will be the situation that EG will be willingly going into. They still have the Aegis the Immortal, we have to keep that in mind. And they do have that cheese over on Sumail. So Arteezy wants to say hello first.
Yeah, they can really just afford to do the slow siege. They're not in any real hurry. The Aegis still has 4 minutes on it, I believe.
Yes. No, 1 minute.
Oh, okay.
You have 1 minute left on the Aegis the Immortal.
It slowly dwelled down during the pause.
It's easy to lose track of time. But Arteezy may not even care anyway. He's got an Abyssal Blade with his BKB and Blink Dagger. Like 36 minutes in, there's very few heroes which will be able to contest him. The only problem would be is if he's found a little bit too deep, then Diddy could control him with that duel, or potentially Dendi messes around with him with both Rod of Atos and Astral Imprisonment.
Yeah, and PPD chooses to buy up the Ghost Scepter, which is probably a smart idea in the actual team fights rather than going for the Boots of Travel, because at this point, there's very little chance of Na'Vi actually splitting up. So getting those pick-offs around on the lanes with the Beastmaster is no longer an option, whereas the Ghost Scepter is going to help you survive against the Outworld Devourer.
Mm-hmm.
That name just doesn't roll on the tongue, does it?
It really doesn't. That's why we call him the OD. Yeah. I don't even remember his original name anymore.
Obsidian Destroyer.
Obsidian Destroyer? Huh. See? I'll change his name back, and we'll remember his name when Pit Lord gets released in Dota 2.
My personal preference is courtesy of Monip, I think. It's the Outhouse Decorator.
As long as you're happy with blood on your walls, yeah, I can see that happening. Astral blood. But then he keeps farming up. We were talking about his critical item before our break, which was the Scythe of Vice, pick up for him. Because that's just going to give them a lot more control and potential ways they can kill off Samel, because Samel obviously didn't want to build into a BKB, especially this early on. So it would be a guaranteed hex to come out from him.
To summarize for everyone just tuning in now, during the break, basically what happened is Na'Vi had a very substantial lead 10 minutes in this game, something they could have very well pushed for objectives for, taking down tier 2 towers. They chose not to, and EG avoided every single fight they could for about until the 30-minute mark, where EG then took a fight, killed 4 of Na'Vi's heroes, and ever since then Na'Vi has been forced to stand in their base, afraid of fighting.
They're just worried because fear, like, okay, Dendi, maybe this could be the first opening. Goes for the imprisonment. General just commits the ultimate. It's right on the edge of the Beastmaster with a tornado. Perfect from Samel, sending Dendi up. He didn't get the BKB down in time. As now Ursa goes to work. Taneko, defensive imprisonment. The Faceless Void has already dropped down, but Diddy Ra comes in looking for the duel over on Samel. The damage, it won't be enough from Diddy Ra. General's coming in to help Mel, looking for the timeline, but the cheese! It comes off at the right time. At the same time, you have lost Arteezy. The buyback comes out from General. That's how we got into the fight. But you lost Dendi on the back line. So Na'Vi, it could have been worse. You have to remember, at that time, the Aegis model was already gone.
If we were to look away from the track goal, I'm not entirely sure they got any of that. They probably did. That was actually fine for Na'Vi. Going even like that, well, they did the buyback actually, so that was not even at all.
It was about a 1k swing in gold.
Yeah, they did get the cheese away from the Invoker though.
They did.
Small comfort.
Both Aegis and Cheese down, so Na'Vi's next fight could be a lot better. Samel gonna try and go solo right now over on Diddy Ra. He cannot survive through that. The Forged Spirits are also in the greatest position ever, already sitting up in the lane. And that kind of play, like the ultimate space creator right now is this Invoker. You were talking about at the very, very start of this game how when you go for this core Swex, he could have gone for something more like an Orchid and just run around the map, finding these pickoffs, taking out these cores, and then making their next push or next objective EG even easier. He didn't even do that now. In fact, we're building into that Octarine, only about 800 gold away from it, already has the Agnams, Shivas, Boots of Travel, and this was an Invoker who, in the first 10 minutes, had to abandon his middle lane twice.
And Na'Vi's objective now is to keep Dendi alive in these fights and make sure that he can actually hit targets. Dendi messed that fight up a bit by not BKBing in time, so he got hit by the Tornado of the Invoker. And then he got swapped out because Arteezy jumped on him, so Soneko did his part.
If he actually got that BKB off in time, they probably would have ended up killing Universe before he triggered anything.
Yeah, exactly. So, a bit of a misplay by Dendi. There's now a Lotus Orb up on Artstyle's chin. So, hopefully he can keep Dendi alive through the Raw.
It's a good way to stop the initiation of PPD. He can't just jump in and do whatever the hell he wants, or he can just break off the stuns.
Well, both the Chrono and the Legion Commanders doing a great job at keeping especially the Lion and the Invoker at bay.
Just good positioning from General. Denny still needs more money for this Scythe. But he decided to actually go for the Ultimate Orb as opposed to going in for the Mystic Staff. I was interested to see like which path he would go, if he actually even buy the whole thing up and sacrifice his buyback. You kind of feel like Na'Vi is in that position where you just have to have everything.
See how far up Arteezy is just playing. They are very confident that there's no way Na'Vi wants to fight them that far out of the race.
Yeah. Well, Na'Vi want to fight really close to their own, so if they do buy back, like that moment with General, he can just like leap straight back into the engagement. They're going to 5-man smoke up. They don't have the Ancients with them. Fear will be breaking this smoke, and you look for the reveal. You know he's over on the side. Blink forward, General. Do you just blind Chrono? Nope. Instead, they have to clean up the wave in a 5-man smoke wasted here from Na'Vi. 30 seconds away from Roshan spawning up to.
And it'll be another 5 minutes before Na'Vi can get another smoke.
I need to get Seneko out of here. That tornado's going to be picking him up.
Smokes are so crucial. 5 minutes, Toby, before they can do another strategical move like that. And they completely messed it up.
The Rod of Atos to try and slow down a Hawk. It's still, okay, with the obs there, the gem, Beastmaster easily gets rid of it. Na'Vi are again blind side of their own base. You look at the vision. This is the vision right now of the dire side. They see almost nothing. So how do you know? Like, this is going on at the moment.
Never mind the 5 minutes. It's obviously only 90 seconds. I just have a bit of a bug with my duration counter.
You can reset it now. So she's over on Sumail. Again, the Aegis Immortal into the hands of the Ursa. As RTZ postures for that mid lane.
Still haven't broken base entirely.
No, they haven't.
All Rex is standing.
Dendy actually has enough that if he wants to, he could buy the Scythe of Ice now. But instead, watch this buyback count. He's the only player over on Na'Vi who currently has a buyback. You'll need more money onto a Chen, and Arteezy, he just runs it in. Arstal has to start stealing these Necro books, because without it, like, the Rax is just evaporate. The Rain Drake's already pretty low, and the Chronosphere, it catches Sphere as well as Arteezy. Dendy's too far away with the damage. Now he starts pumping in towards Sphere. He's going to drop the ulti. The dual win is there for Diddy Ra, but again, the quick pickoff. It is General going down, but Dendy standing his ground. Now the BKB charge. There's nothing left. He throws the ulti at Arteezy. The Aegis Immortal will burn. Seneko is so low, he will be picked off. It is a triple kill already out for the Invoker. Sumail looking good. The buyback from Dendy is there, and still the Four Spirits finish the job. They bring down the range racks. Arteezy going in for round 2. The perfect tornado EMP on top of Dendy as well as Arstal. Arstal is now bone dry. While that ice wall is down, making it very difficult for Na'Vi to get into a position where they can defend this melee ranks in the mid.
Yeah, and Na'Vi just can't allow themselves to focus a bounty hunter of all things in these fights. Arteezy zoned off the entire Na'Vi lineup except Dendy, who was all on his own against the rest of the EG lineup. And Dendy cannot afford to fight against the lineup like that on his own. So, Arteezy using the Aegis, when Spirit goes down after saving Didjara from the grasp or the paws of the Ursa. And Dendy forced to use the buyback. That means that he can now invest into the Scythe of Ice, though.
Yes, because there's no other option for him. The issue is he needs the money for it too. I'm waiting to see if this is going to be a Skadi build coming out.
And the BKB counters are going down for both sides. Dendy now on 7 seconds and Arteezy on 6.
And it's not even just that, like, you're going to have a double roar up for Universe. He's got enough money now where he can just buy a refresher orb. So you got double Necros, double roar. And it will, in fact, be that Eye of Skadi now picked up on the Ursa.
But it's very important for whatever little hope that Na'Vi has left at this point, that they can kite the Ursa around. That
yes.
They aren't just fodder for this little fuzzy-wuzzy.
That is their only hope. Like, their only hope is they keep Arteezy out of the fight, but not actually, even out of the fight is too far. You gotta say you gotta keep Arteezy on the edge of the fight where you can keep the OD dishing out damage without putting any of your heroes in peril, and then have EG to stay around just that little bit too long. But the only pickups you can really get are the ones that come out from the Legion Commander. Because the Legion actually has been decently successful. You got 80 extra dual damage on that Legion Commander. Yeah, that's not too shabby for him.
The problem again is just that it's the wrong targeting that is happening.
Yeah.
They did get the Beastmaster and the Chrono, but unfortunately, as we were talking about earlier, Dendy wasn't positioning himself properly, or he didn't get the BKB off. So no hits were coming off. He used the Sanity's Eclipse in the last fight and did nothing.
Did he just have his Blink Dagger on cooldown? Because it looks like, because when Dendy has that Blink, you expect him to be right next, like the second Void jumps in for his Chronosphere, you expect him to be right behind it. Obviously, General's initiation range is a little bit longer with both Blink and Time Walk. So this could be something just to keep in mind of the positioning of Na'Vi coming into the fights, and now they're actually throwing down their own obs wards. They threw that down right on top of a Radiant obs already planted.
The problem was also that he got swapped out when he BKB'd, so he was standing at the back line after Ursa had already hit him, so he couldn't blink back in, and he needed to run back in while using his BKB charge. So by the time he's actually in a position where he can attack any of the EG players, it's too late because he can already be disabled again.
Na'Vi tries to create a little bit of space by just 5-man pushing the bottom. EG, they are all holding hands as they look towards that bottom lane. But at least got some extra money. Is that actually enough? Yeah, the Void Stone's over on the Courier. Danny just needs a little bit more. 150. Just, you almost want to count it down to that 2.7k.
There's now 3200 HP on Artesi's Ursa. There's no buyback, however. He's a bit short of it. 350 gold.
Where is that Dire Courier? It's actually still sitting in on the top racks. They want to send it down, obviously, to pick up the Scythe. But they could also lose it. Then he's now 40 gold away from having it.
Artstyle's Ancient Black Dragon saying you shall not pass.
He is the mother of dragons at the moment. But I don't know if she knows how to win a war. Na'Vi just hold the line and defend.
No spoilers, please.
There's no spoilers. It's common knowledge. Alright, so Dendi, do you get it out? I want to watch this Courier do the run. He knows he can't though. Like, the bounty is just hunting around him. And he's still, like, there's no buyback available. He has to wait another 2.5 minutes almost for it. But they'll get rid of the Necrobooks. There's still that melee guy, which was converted from Artstyle. And with the Greaves being triggered, they got a lot of life. Fear, a little bit too far forward. As now, the jump in, a huge one! General catches out 4! Already will drop the oldie. Bounty's already down. The duel's over on the sides, and PPD will be taken out this fight by Diddy Ram with the bonus, with damage. Arteezy, he needs to do some serious work. He brings down Dendi, but now they have to try and control him. This fight splits into multiple parts. General trying to escape out with Diddy Ra. Arteezy still battling against Naga over in the tree lines. He's got enough life, or does he? R-Style, the Sunstrike is on the way in. Arteezy will be brought down. The Chen will find the kill. R-Style doing it. General will be sent home. As Diddy Ra will clean up that bottom lane, they still have to worry about the mid, and instantly the movement from Universe to push out the top. But a big fight, 3 for 2 in favor of Na'Vi, even if they did lose Dendi.
A bit of a hollow victory knowing that Dendi died, but the fact that Diddy Ra lived through that fight, I actually thought he would be...
Oh no. That was the Scythe. Well, it was the Scythe.
It's fine. I'm sure it's fine. There's a minute before Dendi respawns anyways. He doesn't need it right now, and then he can just stand around and wait for 2 minutes.
Fair enough. I suppose the Faceless Void can make that extra resistance now, like that space. He's got the Aghanim Scepter up with a level 3 Chrono, so every minute Na'Vi will have that Chrono to play with. This actually makes it even better for Na'Vi, because they can be a lot more liberal with that initiation of General. Obviously, General, the greatest initiation you could have asked for. 4 heroes, maybe not the best position to attack uphill for, but the rest of Na'Vi was right behind him, so they moved better as a full team.
Yeah, the attack position was a bit awkward for Dendi, and I think he let go of the Sanity Eclipse a bit too soon, because it didn't really do any damage.
The only thing he did was kill the bounty.
Exactly, a level 13 bounty hunter. He is by far the lowest level in the game.
The only thing it did stop, I believe, Fear never actually got the mech off, which was good, and no Solar Crest effect either.
Yeah, I guess that's important.
Interesting to see what R-Style's going to build into. He's got a lot of money over on that Chen.
But you see, even with both Chen and Vengeful Spirit trying to help out Dendi, keeping him alive against a solo RTC, Dendi still went down. There's the Skadi effect, there's of course the Abyssal Blade.
They tried, man. They really tried. But the problem is, like, Dendi, you look at the net worth, Chen has more net worth than Dendi does. Like, there's just nothing to work with there. They need more damage. Hello. 5-man Chrono up. You do not have Eclipse for another 20 seconds. Hand of God is coming off cooldown now. But EG is a long way away from this fight. And in fact, they're going to 4-man smoke themselves up. Fear is their walking ward.
I mean, it's fine that they have some good net worth distributed on Na'Vi, because this means that Chen can allow himself to get the Scythe of Vice.
It's the wraparound. Last time Na'Vi did this, yeah, they did exactly this as well. A 5 TP out. Everyone will be out safely, and they're going to be ready to defend their base. EG already knocking on the front door. They don't have a creep wave inside the base yet. And with that Hawk making its way, the Wave of Terror attempts snipe from Snako. And just find another Hawk to replace it. Oh, okay, it's dead too. But Na'Vi very quickly back to defend.
So neither team gets anything out of their smoke.
Dendy, no, he does have time. That's what he gets out of it. 30 seconds until that Scythe is going to respawn on the courier.
Actually interesting to see them smoke out without that Scythe of Ice. That's a huge item for them in these fights.
But they did the same thing before. Like, it was the 5-man push down bottom, and EG, like, they also made the same play. You smoke, you move down to the bottom lane, you try and catch Na'Vi out of position, but they already 5-man TP'd straight back to base. It's almost like Na'Vi are trying to find a way to relieve this pressure which EG continues to apply in the siege. Go out for a small little holiday on the bottom lane and then make the play.
I do not envy having to
still
observe this game, Toby, because these fights are so spread out now. There's so many different targets for people to focus on. Universe now has a refresher orb, and that Beastmaster can now lock down 2 of the targets from Na'Vi. You have to follow the Chronosphere. That's probably where we put all of our attention, right?
Well, that's what you follow for Na'Vi. At the same time with EG...
the fight is all about the Ursa up against the OD.
Yeah.
So naturally, we have to watch that too, but there's an Invoker somewhere in the mix as well.
There is a lot of power players on the field at the moment. But that Scythe is finally in the hands of Dendy, and this is where, like, I kind of, like, I do want to follow the chrono, but I want to see how much damage Dendy can do, and if Diddy Ra can do what he did last time. That, for me, was kind of what tilted that fight in favor of Na'Vi, is the fact that PPD was removed from it. He wasn't able to go Scepter. That duel came out very, very quickly from Diddy Ra, and there was nothing that could really be done about it by EG. And now this time, well, they're starting up on the Giant Frog.
Oh, Didera is actually going for Heaven's Halberd instead of going for a late game build.
Interesting.
He could have gone for that Assault Cuirass, but focuses on keeping down Ursa, so they know that the only objective that they have is allowing Dendy to attack, and by that, not allowing Ursa to jump on him.
The funny thing is, too, with this Aegis the Immortal, like, it's great for Arteezy because he can fight multiple times, but the way Na'Vi are approaching these fights, they're letting Arteezy just run around. Kite him out while they kill off the rest of EG, or attempt to kill off the rest of EG is a better way of putting that. Arteezy, well, he's going to force them onto him. Kills off one of the Black Dragons. That's actually quite big. That's a good way for Arstal to stop these pushes from happening time and time again. So he'll lose that one. The Orbs and Sentries are down from Na'Vi. They do not want any surprises coming at them.
Where's the other one?
What other Orbs?
The other Black Dragon.
Oh, the jump in. Raw over on Dendy. VS has to swap him back out again, but Arteezy on the back line. He's shredding Na'Vi apart. The buyback is there for Chen, but Chenril just keeps getting locked. There's your duel. The chrono comes off, but Diddy Ra is stuck inside of it. He can't really make any kind of play. Universe, he's already done his job. Dendy, I don't think he can get out. He's locked inside the ice wall. This could be it right now. Evil Geniuses, they are shredding apart Na'Vi, and there is really no answer. Arteezy still hasn't even burnt this Aegis of the Immortal. It's a triple kill for Samael. Diddy Ra, another imprisonment will be there. It comes down from Denny. The PPD hot on the tail. It's an ultra kill for Samael. Will they make it a rampage? No, they won't. Fear will end up stealing that one. But this game is pretty much over, and it is over. GG. Evil Geniuses will be facing up against MVP in the Dota Pit Land Final here in beautiful Croatia.
Great late game execution by EG. It wasn't always pretty throughout the start of the game, but they knew what they had to do. They dodged the fight for 30 minutes rather, and then finally, when they were strong enough, they took on Na'Vi and they contained them in their base.
Na'Vi should still be very happy with their performance here. They were able to defeat Secret in a best of 3. They pushed EG to a best of 3. This is more than